Marcus yelled, pointing a finger. You lied to me for 10 years, Angela. You had me thinking. This man was looking for a boyfriend, while he was probably looking at your. We were just friends, Marcus, Angela argued. Men and women can be friends without being intimate. Not when the man is trying to hit everything that moves, Marcus countered. The night ended with Nick fleeing the house in terror of a non-existent 300-pound security guard named Frank, and Marcus earning a jealousy point that he would definitely bring up during their next Larry White session. Chapter 6. The sudden wedding of Richard and Keisha. While Marcus and Angela were fighting over gay husbands, their friends Richard and Keisha were taking a much faster route to disaster. Keisha, a woman who viewed marriage as a hostile takeover, had finally worn Richard down. Richard, Marcus's business partner, was a man who seemed to have lost his spine somewhere in the vicinity of Keisha's designer handbag collection. We're getting married, Keisha announced at a dinner party, flashing a ring the size of a skating rink. Right now. At the judge's office, Marcus pulled Richard aside. Man, are you crazy? You've been divorced. You know how this ends. Do you at least have a prenup? A prenup is a setup for failure. Marcus, Richard said, repeating Keisha's brainwashing verbatim. A prenup is a setup for you keeping your house, Richard, Marcus groaned. But the wedding happened. Keisha emerged from the judge's office, looking like she had just won the lottery, which, in a way, she had. This sparked a fire in Leslie. She turned to Joseph, her long-term partner. So, Richard and Keisha got married. Why aren't we married? Joseph, a man who generally preferred peace over conflict, made a tactical error. Free spirits? Leslie's voice rose an octave. I've been your free spirit for 5 years, Joseph. I want a ring. I want the Clydesdales. I want the 5,000 doves. You don't even like birds, Leslie. You said they have shifty eyes. That's not the point. Chapter 7. The revelation of the salon. The salon expansion was finally finished. The low-bearing wall had been conquered by Tariq, who had spent the last month flirting with every woman in a 3-block radius, including Jennifer. Angela stood in the beautiful new space, feeling a rare moment of peace. Until she saw the DNA test results Jennifer had accidentally left on the counter. Jennifer? What is this? Oh, that? I swabbed Tariq's mouth when he was yawning. You know, to see if MJ was his. Angela froze. And Tariq is sterile. He had a pencil accident in preschool. He can't even have kids, Angela. So Marcus really is the father. Angela leaned against the styling chair. The weight of her suspicion, her anger, and her fire-starter tendencies finally evaporated. Marcus was the father. Marcus was faithful. Marcus was just a man who liked Larry White and had thin walls. That night, Marcus came home to a house that didn't smell like smoke. It smelled like manicotti and expensive perfume. Babe? Marcus called out. Angela appeared at the top of the stairs, wearing something that cost more than a month's rent and looking at him with eyes that finally held nothing but love. I'm sorry, Marcus, she whispered. Marcus smiled. He went to the stereo and pressed play. The deep, rumbling voice of Barry White filled the room. I love you, baby, Marcus mimicked. Shut up and come here, Angela laughed. Downstairs, MJ put on a pair of noise-cancelling headphones. Here we go again, he muttered, turning up his video game. Larry White is back in the building, and in the Williams house, for one night at least, the walls were just thick enough. Epilogue, The Circle of Mayhem. Life in the suburbs of Atlanta continued its frantic pace. Richard and Keisha were already arguing over the color of the curtains in the office. Keisha wanted Victorian blood red. Richard wanted to be able to see. Leslie was still giving Joseph the silent treatment until he produced a diamond. And Miss V was officially in remission, though she still kept a small emergency supply of her medicine in the back of the pantry. Angela still had her moments. She still had a gallon of gasoline in the garage just in case. But Marcus had a new car, a new suit, and a wife who mostly trusted him. Thin walls and thick dramas. Chapter 1. The legend of Larry White. The walls of the Williams household were not so much structural boundaries as they were polite suggestions, built with the kind of acoustic transparency that would make a recording studio engineer weep. Every sigh, every argument, and every late-night reconciliation was shared property. Marcus Jr., or MJ, as he was known to anyone who didn't want to be glared at, sat at the breakfast table, poking at a bowl of grits that was slowly achieving the consistency of wet cement. He was a teenager, with ears tuned to the frequency of his parents' marriage. "I didn't want to hear it," MJ muttered to the empty kitchen. "But I kinda wanted to hear it." Miss V, the family's stalwart and occasionally terrifying housekeeper, bustled in, her eyes sharp enough to peel paint. "You shouldn't have been listening, boy. Eavesdropping is a sin that leads to early gray hair and a heavy spirit." "I was trying not to," MJ protested, his voice cracking slightly. "But I know the signs, Miss V." Miss V paused, a spatula held mid-air like a scepter. "Who in the name of all that is holy is Larry White?" MJ rolled his eyes. "A feat of teenage Olympic-level athleticism. You know, the old fat dude with the real deep voice. I love you, baby. I love you, baby. Baby." Miss V let out a bark of laughter that sounded like a car backfiring. "Boy, that is Barry White. If you call him Larry one more time, his ghost is going to haunt your Spotify playlist. And you better finish those grits before they turn into a brick." The heavy tread of Marcus Williams, MJ's father, and local sports media royalty echoed on the stairs. He entered the kitchen, looking like a man who had either just won the lottery or just survived a marathon. He wasn't smiling. "Uh-oh," MJ whispered to Miss V. "He ain't smiling. You know what that means." "Hi, Dad," MJ said aloud, trying to sound innocent. "How was your night?" Marcus looked at his son, then at the grits. "Good. You ready for your big test?" Tan. "Yeah, sure. Where's Mom?" "She's coming down." "Slept late." MJ leaned in, his eyebrows wiggling. "Slept late? That's a good sign. It means y'all could have had a good night." "Did Mom make up with you last night?" Marcus sighed, a sound that carried the weight of 14 years of Angela's temper. "Son, look." "That's a no." MJ slumped. "I was kinda hoping you did, but I was hoping I didn't hear it. But I did want to hear it, but I didn't want to hear it, because if y'all doing it, then I'ma hear it. And these walls are thin, Dad. I told you." "Oh, you mean hearing me and your mother talking?" Marcus asked, his voice rising in that protective fatherly way. "He morga." "Yeah, talking," MJ mimicked. "When that Teddy, Pendergrass, or Terry, whatever gets to playing, I know what's happening. Then you come downstairs giggling, and Mom comes behind you going hing hing hing. It's a whole production." The sound of the school bus honking saved Marcus from a very awkward conversation about 70s R and B and the mechanics of intimacy. "Bus is here. Good day at school," Marcus shouted, practically pushing his son out the door. Chapter 2. The Trust Fall. As MJ vanished, Angela Williams descended the stairs. Angela was a force of nature. If Marcus was the calm eye of the storm, Angela was the Category 5 hurricane surrounding him. She was beautiful, sharp-tongued, and currently sporting a look of profound contemplation. "Good morning, Marcus," she said, her voice unusually soft. "Good morning, babe," Marcus replied cautiously. He had learned over the years that soft Angela was sometimes more dangerous than loud Angela. "Baby, I've been doing a lot of thinking all night long," she said. "That explains all the smoke I smelled from the gears turning," Marcus teased. Angela didn't bite. "I've decided to trust you. I believe you did not sleep with this woman, Sabrina Murphy. I'm gonna let it go." Marcus froze. He felt like a prisoner who had just been handed a pardon 5 minutes before the chair. "Baby, you serious? Do you know how long I've been waiting to hear you say that?" "Thank you." He reached for her, a genuine warmth flooding his chest. "If I did not have to go to work, I would go up those stairs and soundproof that room right now. We would have been on a temporary and awkward 3 times. "Oh," Angela giggled. The hing 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 MJ had described finally making an appearance. "That's how we made MJ. I'm gonna see you tonight, Marcus promised, kissing her forehead.